For my Intro to Special Education field experience, I got the opportunity to observe two vastly different elementary schools. The first school I observed was McCollum Elementary. I was able to take a look at all the mixed abilities classes offered here, but mostly watched Miss Stevenson's second grade classroom. Her class was very organized and colorful. She kept track of things proudly on her wall, such as the date and also her students' birthdays. This class had students that would speak out often, wander from their seats, and some screamers. There were a total of 5 adults and 7 children in this class, excluding myself. Miss Stevenson was a teacher, and the rest were paraprofessionals. When Miss Stevenson's class began, they began carpet time, where students sat down in their designated chairs on a rug in front of the smartboard. They practiced pronouncing and saying sentences with the letter K, like kid in a kayak. Every student was given a chance to pronounce the letter and then the sentence aloud in front of the class. After this activity, they also practiced blending 2 sounds together. The sound the students had to blend today was ag. Songs were played to help students grasp the sound, and food treats were also given to those who participated. These lessons utilized technology and interactive videos a lot. After carpet time, the students then began working on their schedule. Each student had a set schedule of things they would do all day, and each student's schedule was a little different to suit their specific needs and goals. Most of the learning activities involved being in their individualized learning areas, and involved activities such as matching numbers, letters, words, etc. All of the activities were very visually stimulating and had attention grabbers for many kinds of learners. Every activity was also monitored by an adult, and the adult would also help the student focus and stay on task. The whole teacher-student part was very used in these activities. And now I'm actually going to play a video I took during one of the activities, which was the one-on-one reading activity where the teacher read a little book with a student.
Sam all the way here. This dot to this dot. Wow. Good job. Good reading. High five. Ready? Cross. Cross. How. Good job. Which one is listen? How. Good reading. High five. You read a couple of those words. That's good. Good job, buddy. You read that whole sentence. No. This. Which one is this? Sam. He's left. Sam. This one is listening. Listen. Which one is listening? Dad. This one. Yeah, good job, buddy.
Their play areas included a spot to chill out and also a reading corner. At one point, a therapist came in and observed the students' activity, and she would then help them with their tasks using different teaching techniques that cater to the students' disability. After one activity was done, the students would then rotate on to the next activity on their schedule. The other classes I observed at this school were structured the same way, but for higher grades too, which was up to 5th grade. Songs were utilized, schedules were used, and plenty of hands-on work was done. The classes all had a strong sense of family and acceptance and had personalized classes for their students. I also took a trip to their sensory room and watched kids use all the energy they had pent up for the morning. The other school I observed at was Chisholm Trail Elementary School. This school was different in a couple of ways, and I also got the wonderful opportunity to observe an IEP while I was here. The teacher I observed here was Miss Nickel, who teaches 3rd grade students who need just a little bit of help with their other classes. The more severe cases were put in a separate area, and Miss Nickel herself is actually really interesting to me due to the fact that she herself is physically disabled and has to use a fancy self-driven wheelchair. She got around the classroom just fine and does not let her disability affect her at all with her teaching. She has a colorful and very organized class. I wasn't able to take as many pictures though because I was actually helping her teach the class, and when the classes would go off into their separate groups, I would even help the paras. Miss Nickel went over instructions during lessons in great detail and made sure that everyone understood what was going on. She has a curiosity for her students and asks them how their week or weekend was and keeps track of what's going on in their lives. She sets expectations for her students and gives them challenges to work through. She also uses body language with her arms and facial expressions. The wonderful opportunity I got to watch the IEP here was granted to me by the mom of the student. Mom was there, a social worker, Miss Nickel, who is the special ed teacher, and the regular ed teacher, principal, vice principal, and assessment specialists were also here for the IEP. The student the IEP was for had just been diagnosed with ADHD over a year ago. To begin, the social worker reviewed what life is like at home, and then the regular ed teacher discussed how she was doing in class. She has been reading more words per minute, excelling in reading, and is a little artist. She can form paragraphs when writing now. She is a little forgetful at times, and is a great communicator. Then the nurse at the school talked about how she did with her hearing/vision tests, and after the assessment specialist finished talking about where she scored in tests, they discussed programs that would suit the student. Mom had a lot of say in what her daughter would get, and I'm very grateful that she let me sit in and learn more about how IEPs work. Later on, I also observed the mixed ability class, which kids from 2nd to 5th grade were in. This class only had one teacher with 7 kids. It was really colorful in the class, and the kids here also had schedules with numbered activities that matched a pre-made activity box. The students in this classroom were screamers, would wander from their seats, and were also a bit irritable. Overall, I think that I liked observing at McCollum more, but each of them, of course, had their own strengths and weaknesses. One weakness Chisholm Elementary School had was that they had less staffing for their severe case classrooms, and McCollum had plenty of staffing for their severe case classrooms. Nobody was ever left behind at McCollum, but I feel like at Chisholm Trail, some of the kids were kind of left to be on their own, and they were not on task, but that's because they only had one teacher in there. The teacher, she did try, however, to keep the kids as on task as she could and gave a lot of positive rewards for kids that were on task. Anyway, thank you very much for watching my video. Goodbye.